In this video, I want to take you inside my sketchbook and show you every page from start to finish. So this is the first page of my sketchbook. I started this sketchbook on the 1st of December and I finished it on the 7th of March. So I now date my sketchbooks, which I didn't used to, and it's very helpful. And my sketchbook is really the cornerstone, the bedrock, the foundation of my art practice. It's where I explore subject matter, it's where I explore mark making, it's where I try out different materials, different combinations of materials, different colours. It's where I look for things I like in my own artwork, so things that I enjoy and relish and delight in about my own artwork is where I kind of find these things. And here, this is mostly or nearly entirely alcohol-based marker. And so what happens with an alcohol-based felt tip pen is that it will seep through. So it's seeped through to this page here, and actually I quite enjoy that kind of unexpected and random mark making. So you'll see in my sketchbook I quite often revisit motifs and ideas and images. I'm really just wanting to explore my own art practice and what I like about my own art and what I enjoy doing. So my sketchbook is really where I discover these things. So I like to use it for kind of playing about, for developing, for just seeing what I enjoy in terms of my own art making. And you'll see I really love kind of pattern and detail, and I quite enjoy my art where there is something very detailed, but there's also something a little bit wild and a little bit unreserved, unrestrained. So a lot of this particular sketchbook is pen. It's felt tip pen or a fine liner pen. I was living in an Airbnb for a little while because we had a house flood, so I wasn't able to use wet material or paint in a way that I would usually. So I really just lent in to felt tip pens, and I really enjoyed using felt tip pen, and I think, you know, it's part of my repertoire now. And here this is just a little corner, this pink corner here is a post-it note just stuck in. So I'm often sticking things in. You know, if there's something I don't like in my sketchbook, I'll probably just stick something else over it or paint over it. So I'm quite often coming back to pages, thinking, what do I like here? What could I change here? It's a kind of evolving process. The pages change and grow as I'm working in the sketchbook. I rarely come back to a sketchbook and change it, but when it's still got blank pages in it, it's like every page is up for changing, and it's a kind of process of addition and subtraction. And these pages here, I was thinking about what I wanted to be in a series of paintings. So I'm sort of just thinking through doing. I'm thinking about composition, I'm thinking about subject matter, I'm thinking about the motifs, the shapes, the lines, the marks that I like in my art, and I'm just discovering through doing in these pages. And you'll see I often repeat and repeat, just come back to a similar kind of topic. And I really consider my sketchbook, you know, as a kind of playground, as something for me. It's a cabinet of my ideas or fragments of ideas, and I find it really useful to look back at. So if I'm in the middle of painting or in developing a series of paintings, I often get my sketchbooks out and will look through and be mindful and take note of the things that I enjoy and the things that I like, and the, you know, it could be a colour combination, it could be the way, the kind of energy of a line, or it could be, you know, some mark making. So I use them as a kind of reference point, as a kind of research tool, as well as a way of, you know, just having fun too. And you know, sometimes I'll make pages when I'm working in my studio, but often I might be sat in front of the television colouring in. So it's a hobby and a career. And I'm often sticking things in, putting pieces of collage in. This is this piece here was from a painting that I didn't quite think worked, so I just cut it up and stuck it in. And I'm using my sketchbook to think about the combinations I like, the shapes I like. And then I went a bit crazy with a felt tip pen. Up until this point I thought my sketchbook was looking a little bit neat, and then I went a bit bananas. Because I just wanted it to be a little bit looser and a bit more experimental and a little bit less resolved. So I'm totally fine if pages don't work, and if they don't, you know, if there's something wrong that doesn't quite, that isn't quite successful, I'm totally fine about that. The whole point for me of a sketchbook is to really develop my language, to try things. And you know, sometimes when you try things they work and sometimes they don't, and that's just how you learn, or how I learn and develop, and really kind of hone down, oops, missed a page, hone down what it is about my own art making that I kind of love. So you'll see here there's lots of felt tip pen, I've stuck things in, I'm using some of this kind of bright coloured here is an alcohol-based ink. So with an alcohol-based ink here, you can see it goes through more. So this is watercolour and felt tip pen. And then this page, I think was actually meant to be that way up. I think I was obviously not paying attention when I opened my sketchbook and started, but again, this is actual photocopies of pieces of my sketchbook that I have stuck in and reused. And there's another, this piece here is a photocopy of a previous page, or another page in another sketchbook. And these pieces here are all stuck in and are photocopies of other pieces of my artwork. So I often do that. I'm taking something I've made before and I'm kind of carrying it on, and I'm reimagining it and reusing it and recycling it. And then I was really, this is all kind of black felt tip pen, and again these pieces are collage. And that is the last page of this sketchbook. So that is a whole sketchbook where I try things out, have fun, and don't worry too much about what everything looks like. I'm really thinking that the most important thing is what I notice and what I enjoy. And you know, I often just look back at pages and there might be a passage or an element of a page that I really love, and that is just great. So it's a good filing cabinet, a good way of trying things out and keeping them safe. It's a safe keeping place for my art and for my ideas.